Hi folks, welcome back to my video. My name is Lloyd, and in today's series we are going to look into how to tier your backup data to cloud. So we are going to do a bit different compared to my previous video. Previously, for those of you who view my video, I will break it down into video demos. I also break it down into whiteboarding as well. So in this series, what we are going to do is we are going to look into the concept by looking into the whiteboarding. After that, we will move into demo on how does it really work. Right now is why you require these particular features, right? During this period of times, a lot of customers and partners, they're looking into a solutions into moving their backup data out of their on-premise, right? So how do they do it right now is they're leveraging on tape, right? They transfer their oldest backup data to tapes and then transport this particular tape into another location. But during the lockdown, or what we call MCO or CMCOs, or MCO as well, a lot of people facing difficulties of going back to office to change tape and also transport the tape offsite as well, right? So what is my alternative, right? If I want to go tapeless, right, I can leverage on storage to do replications, but the question right now is you probably do not have your own
Power off.
another data centers, right? So therefore, right, what you can the alternative that you can do is by leveraging on what we call object storage, right? So how do we do that? Very simple. Now let's me move into the whiteboarding. All right. So in your environments, you do have what we call your ESX host, right? This is probably your ESX host, or you do have a Hyper-V host or any kind of workload that you have in your environments, right? Then the next thing is you do have a physical server, right? So this is your physical server, right? So the best part is this is your workload. The next thing is, in order for you to tier your backup data to the cloud, so this is where you start to deploy what we call the veeam backup server, right? So you start to deploy a veeam backup server, right? And in your environments, you do have what we call network, okay, and it's connecting to each of them. Right. So once you have deployed your veeam backup servers, by default it came with proxies and repositories as well, right? So you do have repo, and it comes with a proxy as well, right? So if your environment is quite big, you can deploy multiple proxies and also repositories as well, right? So in order for you to protect the virtual farm, for example, ESX hosts, Hyper-Vs, or Nutanix Octopolis, you can use veeams to backup agentless, right? Without install agents, we're able to backup this particular host. And for physical server, you can install agent, right? So we do support agents for Windows. We also support agent for Linux as well, right? So this is a typical environments, what you have in your environments. So the next question right now is, I want to leverage on what we call public cloud. Right? So this is public cloud. And some of the options that you're looking at probably is on AWS or Azure, right? And you want to leverage on what we call object storage, right? So this is your object storage, right? So what you need to do right now is on-premise you do have a repositories, and then you do have object storage as well. So in order for you to tier your backup data to the cloud, what you need to do is you need to start to configure a logical pool, what we call it is SOBR, scale out backup repositories, right? So you create a SOBR, scale out backup repositories, and you combine one pool of your repositories that located locally. If you do have multiple pool, you can do that as well, right? And then you add one object storage. So it can be S3, right? S3 compatible devices, or even Azure block storage as well, right? So once you have configured as a pool, when you do backups, this backup data will put it into SOBR, right? And then based on the policy that you define, either copy mode or move mode, right? Either copy or move mode, then this backup data will tiers to the cloud. If you select copy mode, right, means once you backup to a local repo, then this backup data will make a copy into object storage. It's a copy mode. The second one is move mode. So move mode is for those of you who would like to move your old backup data into object storage. For example, your weeklies, your monthly, your yearlies, you do not want to put it into your on-premise storage. Probably you do not want to invest more storage on on-premise. You can also leverage on object storage as well. So once you set move mode, then these old backup data will move into object storage, right? So what type of backup data that you can tier to the cloud? ESX backup data, yes, you can do that. Hyper-V backup data, yes, you can do that as well. AHV, and also physical backup data as well, alright, which you protect agents, right? So the concept here right now is you must transfer or point the targets to SOBR, scale out backup repositories. So in order for you to get a SOBR, right, it came with the licensing of minimum editions is enterprise, right? And of course, you can also get it from the highest editions, which is Enterprise Plus as well. So for Enterprise editions, allowing you to combine up to 3 repositories plus 1 object storage. Enterprise Plus allowing you to combine unlimited repositories plus the object storage as well, right? So this is how it works. Now let's move into our next topic about demo, right? So in this, before I show you the demo, one of the things which I'm going to highlight is we are going to look into how to integrate with object storage, right? Then the next thing is we are going to configure scale out backup repositories. This is the place whereby you put your local repo plus your object storage, and we do configure policies to tier your backup data to the cloud as well, right? And last but not least, besides then showing you on the data already tiered to the cloud, the next question is how do I recover my backup data, and those data is located into object storage, right? So let's move into our demo environments. Alright, so first thing is you add your repositories. This is where you're going to add your object storage. So we are going to add Amazon S3. Click next. Provide the credentials. This is the place whereby we need your access key and the secret key as well. Point to your data centers. Right. Then you click next. You're able to query your S3 bucket. Right. You can create the additional folders where you want to put your backup data as well, right? So on your bucket, you need to select which regions that you want to put it, right? Select your nearest one. So for Malaysia will be Singapore, right? Then from here you're able to select your bucket, create your folders where you want to put your backup data. You can configure a soft limit. For example, you do not want it to, we want it to give you a warning when you exit the data stored into the cloud. Then the next thing is together with version 10, you're able to configure immutable as well. So that is how you should configure your object storage. It's not that difficult at all. Once you have done that, the next thing is you configure your SOBR. So what I did is I already created it. The next thing is I have my local repo. Then I add the new object storage which I just created, right? So I can have a copy mode of the move mode, right? You can also configure if your on-premise storage is not sufficient, when you reach to 70% tiers to the cloud as well. For security purpose, you can also encrypt your backup data. Right? So that's all on how to create your SOBR. It's not that difficult at all, right? So the next thing is we're going to run the backup. So the next thing is let's run one of the job, okay, your backup job, right? So the backup is currently running a backup, right? And it will back up into the local repo. So I pause the video. So what it's doing right now is almost completing backup to local repo. Right. Then you can able to see that the backup data will start to upload to object storage, right? Once your backup is completed. So on this job, it will take a while for it to transfer from on-premise to the cloud. In this particular jobs, you're able to see that it start to tiers the backup data to the cloud, right? So it will take a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this particular video, right? And we will resume once it's finished transferring to the cloud, right? So this is what is the job has been completed, right? And then on your veeam backup servers, you're able to see object storage. So that means this data is already on the cloud, right? The next thing is, let's say if in case of disasters, you want to do any recoveries and your on-premise local repository is already no longer available. So you can just use the veeam backup servers and open our explorers, and you're able to mount those backup data into from the object storage, and you're able to read the data and do recovery as well. So from here, I'm able to drill down into the folders, and I can select the particular files that I want to recover. I can just right click and do restorations. Alright guys, we have come to the end of the video. What I did is I already explained to you how does the cloud tier work, right? Then I also show you on how easy for you to configure SOBR and also tiers your backup data into object storage, right? So that's all for today. Thank you very much and see you next time.